All right, we're going to do today something I haven't done in a while. 4 common retirement problems and how you can solve them there. And I'm talking more of the retirement investing, retirement planning. It's a core portion of our business here. And so we get to see a lot of people that, despite advice, go one way or, we tend to push them another way there. So let's just get down to it. We'll make this a short one here today. Number 1, and these are not ranked in order of performance. I was just thinking about these. Willingly losing value to inflation. And maybe you're trying to do something to fight off inflation there, but a lot of the software programs, they just kind of bake in 2.5% inflation, long-term inflation rates. They don't account for years where, we have what we have now, right? It's really, really troublesome. And you might look at it and say, well, inflation's peaking. I might agree, but inflation's peaking and it's going to start coming down. In our notes from Jazz email, we do this for clients every week. It's free to, it's part of the service there, but let me dive in here and see. It should be this one here. Yeah, right here. So we actually did, and I'm gonna move this over so you can see the whole thing. We did a best case scenario. This is about a month old, but we went through and said, what if inflation, and we're using CPI in this case, falls at a certain pace? What if inflation falls at a different pace, right? A little bit slower. What if inflation falls a little bit slower and slower and slower? So we tried to pull this out through a timeline and go, realistically, what are we looking at before inflation gets down to a level where the Fed's going to be happy? It's basically this time next year, if you're lucky, over the summer next year, right? So if you're looking at your cash, if you're looking at your maybe safer investments, and you're not doing something to offset that, or you're using 2.5% as a calculation, you may want to change that. Now, the video is 4 common problems and how to solve them. How could you solve for excess cash that cannot beat current inflation? I don't know if you can safely beat the current inflation, but you can still help your long-term average. I-bonds are really popular on the internet with the kids there. CDs are getting a little bit more competitive. You could also take a very conservative investment portfolio, realizing it will go up and down. But you can do something like that if you're willing to take a little risk. So keep that in mind. In times of high peak, hopefully, inflation, don't expect, it's not coming straight down again. So don't just write that off. Make some decisions, right? There's more that we could do with that. Of course, happy to help. Number 2, let's make this fast. I'm rambling. Having no or very few goals for your retirement plan. And I don't mean like, it's going to cost me X number of dollars a month, or I think it will. I'll need to pay for some health insurance. I may need to have a car, still the car that I have, and that'll cost me some insurance as well. General expenses, right? People get to that point and then they drop off in any kind of planning. Realize that you're going to have one-time trips that are not joyful trips. And this just comes from experience. You are going to make trips for friends who live in other states who have passed as you get older. You're going to want to attend their funerals. Those are unexpected. It could be $1,000, $2,000 with inflation. You see how it is now. So you need to put in things like that. I would put them as one-time trips. You don't want to have a goal of your friend passing away, of course, but these things happen. And that's a one-time ding against your budget, the things that you figured out. You're going to have multiple cars over retirement, even if you're like me and stingy and you let them go for longer than they should. You're going to have joyful trips. You're going to have things that you want to do, plan for that, birthday parties, grandkids, and all that. Throw an extra few bucks here and there to solve for that. That's number 2. Oh, sorry about that. Number 3, this is an easy one. Have you heard of the 2-bucket strategy, 3-bucket strategy, 4-bucket strategy? I think other advisors just keep adding a number to it just to make it seem like it's their own. Whether you're 2, 3, or 4, or you're going to come up with 5 or something like that. Realize that buckets are not accounts. It's kind of a pet peeve of mine to watch other advisors say that a bucket is an account, or this bucket, your Roth IRA, is going to be years number 7 through 10 that you withdraw or something. No, a bucket is not an account. I can prove that upside down and sideways all day long. Buckets are dollars, right? So think about that. A bucket could be some cash from your Roth in this year, some cash from your 401k, and maybe a little cash that you had on the sidelines. What's the most efficient for you? You got to plan through that or get some help and cool, Jazz Wealth. But you've got to actually think through that. Don't fall into the trap that bucket number 1 is my savings account for the first few years of retirement just to get me kind of going there. Think that through, which leads me to number 4. Most people don't realize that returns can be made on your withdrawals. That's an odd way to say it there, right? You can have more money, keep it in your pocket. You can have more money by withdrawing your money correctly than growth on the funds, right? Everybody's always looking at, do I get 7, 8, 9, 10% growth or whatever? Okay, that's important. But when you withdraw money, think about this. If you withdraw all your yearly expenses from an IRA in its simplest form, you know you would have tax. If you took $50,000 as an individual person in 2022, you're in the 22% bracket, right? Or you're going to be cresting at the 22% bracket. You won't pay that much. Okay, so that's $50,000 from a traditional IRA. Now, again, in its simplest form, what if you took all of the money from a Roth IRA? There's no tax. So over here we have tax, over here we have no tax. Well, that's only 1 year. Look over the course of your life, what you hope to enjoy in retirement, and go, wow, what if I take 50% from here and 50% from here? My tax rate just dropped and I still got money left over here, right? You can figure that out, or we can do it for you. We do it for our clients that are doing that retirement thing. We go, hey, we can add returns by you paying less taxes if you promise to take 8% from this account, 16 from that, and the rest over there in this year. And I'll tell them each year what to do. So returns can be made on your withdrawals. Never heard somebody say that there. Anyways, that's it. I just wanted to wrap that up for you and talk about 4 really common problems. There's actually probably 40 that I could go through, but I wanted to give you some ideas of how you can take a look at that, fix that, or get help for that. Doesn't have to be us. We certainly hope you choose us, but if it's not, just find some help. You want to get that right. There's $1 left on the table. Enjoy.